Hello everyone, in this class, we are going to learn how to install yaw bearings. The main content includes the installation of yaw bearings. Installation of yaw bearings. The first step in installing yaw bearings is to clean them. Clean the yaw bearing thoroughly with a cleaning agent and a large cloth thread, and clean the corresponding threaded holes with tabs of different models. Clean the dirt inside the threaded holes with compressed air. Use a vacuum cleaner to clean up the dirt sucked out. Inspect the installation surface of the yaw bearing to prevent dirt from contaminating or adhering to the installation contact surface if there is any dirt. A cleaning agent that does not corrode the sealing material must be used to clean the contaminated area. Use a lint-free cloth to remove hardened grease, dust, and rough dirt, and strictly remove the color residue. Sweat and hair installed on the support surface when cleaning the yaw bearing. Do not use cleaning agents that corrode the sealing material or high-pressure cleaning. If adopted, it may damage the yaw bearing. Also, check and tighten each straight-through oil injection cup one by one. The second step is to align the position of the soft belt. When installing the yaw bearing, the inner ring should face upwards from the concave surface. The position of the soft belt blocking the inner ring of the yaw bearing should be based on the installation threaded hole of the yaw bearing at the very front end of the base. Count the 13th threaded hole clockwise and align it. What is the position of the soft belt? Due to the use of surface hardening technology and the requirements of assembly, there will be unhardened sections left on the hook raceway of the yaw bearing. The hardness of the raceway in this section is significantly lower than that of the quenched raceway. It does not have the ability to bear large loads and becomes a soft belt for yaw bearings. The third step is hoisting. Tighten the 3 lifting ring screws into the 3 lifting threaded holes of the yaw bearing. Connect a specially made 3-leg sling and 3 lifting ring screws with 3 1T shackles. Then lift the yaw bearing smoothly and raise it to a height of 1.8 meters. The fourth step is to install. Move the yaw bearing smoothly directly above the installation surface of the base yaw bearing and lower it steadily. Then slowly lower the hook to make the installation hole of the yaw bearing symmetrical to the threaded hole of the base. Ensure that the position of the soft belt blocking the hole of the inner ring of the yaw bearing is correct. Until the yaw bearing can be stably placed on the installation surface of the base yaw bearing, remove the specially made 3-leg sling and the lifting ring screws. Fix the yaw bearing to the base with bolts and washers. Solid lubricating grease is applied to the threaded engagement part of the bolt, as is the contact surface between the bolt head and the flat washer. The fifth step is to tighten it. The fastening bolts should be carried out when the eccentric bearing is not under load to ensure the press stress of the bolts and prevent the deformation of the yaw bearing. First, tighten the ring without gears, and then tighten the ring with gears. The threads of the second pair of bolts should be moistened with engine oil. The third step is divided into 3 steps in a cross-shaped pattern. The proportions are 50%, 75%, and 100% of the bolt preload respectively. tighten the bolts in the order shown in the picture before applying torque on. Adjust the pressure value of the air compressor to the number in the pressure and torque value comparison table on the pneumatic wrench. Adjust the pressure value of the pneumatic pressure regulating unit to the corresponding pressure value. After adjusting the pressure value, test the torque of one bolt. Check the torque value of the pneumatic wrench. During the torque application process, 3 pneumatic wrenches must be used alternates after applying the torque for every 15 bolts. Another pneumatic wrench must be replaced. When using a pneumatic wrench, protective measures should be taken for the reaction force arm of the pneumatic wrench. The anti-corrosion coating of the yaw bearing and bolts must not be damaged. The torque can also be adjusted using an electric impact wrench or a hydraulic wrench with the corresponding torque value. During this process, each time the bolt is tightened to the specified pressure, the cross-tightening mode is repeated multiple times to tighten the bolt. If a hydraulic chain-turner is used to pre-tighten bolts, the pre-tightening force of the bolts should not exceed 50% of the bolt's yield strength. During the tightening debugging process, multiple rotation checks should be carried out. Check whether the yaw bearing rotates stably and evenly. Step 6. Torque inspection. Check the torque value of the bolt. If the torque value of any bolt is not up to standard, the torque of the bolts must be reapplied and rechecked until the torque value reaches the qualified. The 7th step is impurity removal. Impurities remaining on the surface of the bolt head will affect the subsequent repeated processing, so the impurities need to be cleaned up thoroughly. The 8th step is anti-corrosion treatment. After the bolts are tightened, use a large cloth dipped in detergent to wipe off the marks on the bolt heads. Apply cold sprayed zinc to the surface of the bolt head and gasket with a brush. Try not to let cold sprayed zinc drip onto the surface of other components. If it accidentally drips, clean it up in time. Technical requirements for the installation of yaw bearings. The torque value of the bolt passing through is accurate. The pneumatic wrench should be replaced every 15 bolts. When installing the yaw bearing, the position of the soft belt of the yaw bearing must be correct. Bolts must be marked with anti-loosening measures. Anti-rust oil should be applied to the bolt and gasket threaded parts, which must be clean, uniform, and free of bubbles. The above is the content learned in this class. Thank you all.